Consider these 12 ways on how you can get yourself out of debt faster. Coming right at you. Hey guys, my name is Peter and I've been in the financial industry for over 11 years and I'm passionate about showing others the tips and tricks I've learned along the way. Join with me as we dig in. Number one, you have to decide. You have to decide that you're no longer going to borrow money. You're no longer going to live this life. You have to think long term. What will it look like if I keep spending money at this rate? Or what would it look like if I were to keep paying down my debt at this rate? Thinking long term and deciding you no longer want to live in debt will help propel you towards the next step. According to a study by Capital One in 2020, being in debt can be stressful to your health. The worry over how to pay the bills and how to plan for the future and how to save for the future impacts over 50% of Americans. Number two, use your tools. I would really encourage you to use a calendar. Write down all the debts that are due, how much they're due, and when they're due on a calendar. I also recommend maybe putting that in front of you. Some people write stuff down on their mirror so they can look at them often. I would also encourage to use your reminders app. If you have one on your phone, it's a great tool to use and remind yourself, when is a bill due and how am I gonna pay it? The idea here is to use the tools that you have to your advantage. You're already very busy and you've got lots going on in your mind and in your life. So why not use the tools to make yourself more successful? Number three, sell or downgrade your vehicle. Maybe right now isn't the best time to have the 2021 loaded version. The one with the remote start, the tinted windows, the sunroof, the leather seats. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that, but if you were to get rid of that or downgrade, that will really help reduce the overall amount of debt that you already have. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't get a nicer vehicle in the future, but for now, maybe just consider getting a reliable car that will get you from point A to point B. And then maybe later, when you're more comfortable in the financial situation that you're in, you could get back to having a nicer vehicle if you really want. Number four, start grocery shopping more. You'll be surprised at how much money you can really save if you start to increase the amount of your grocery budget every month or every paycheck compared to how much you might be spending eating out right now. Another great way to save money is by brown bagging your lunch. Basically, pack a lunch. I know it's not as convenient as going out to eat, but I'm sure that you'll save a lot of money if you pack your lunch, and typically it's a lot healthier. Number five, decide on a payoff date or a strategy. Let's say that you decide, hey, I want to pay off these $10,500 worth of credit cards by March of next year. That will give you something specific to shoot for. As you probably heard before, I would encourage you to put these into SMART goals. That's an acronym. There's different strategies on how you can pay down debt faster. The two most common are going to be the avalanche method and the snowball method. Now, the most logical of these two will be the avalanche method, because that's where you list out your debts from highest interest rates to lowest. And what you would do is you would pay the minimum payments on all of the lower interest rate debts and focus any extra cash you have towards the highest interest rate debt that you have. Although that makes the most mathematical and logical sense, typically what I'd recommend is for people to use the snowball method. That's actually going to be the opposite, where you put all of your strength towards paying off all of the smaller balances first. So let's say that you have 10 debts. What I would do is list them out from smallest balance to largest balance, and then start to knock down the smallest ones and put any extra money you had towards that, like a snowball, towards the next balance due. The reality is that we're humans. We're not Vulcan, we're not robots, which means that there's a lot of emotion and a lot of psychology behind the way that we do things. And so the snowball method really gives you the momentum to keep going because you start to see the small wins along the way. Number six, cut up your credit cards. I know it sounds crazy, but I would really encourage you to either cut them up or hide them. If not, then it will always remain an option for you as a plan B to fall back on. The idea is if you're really committed to get yourself out of debt, don't leave yourself other options. Get rid of them completely. Or if you're gonna keep your credit cards, maybe you can put them into a cup, freeze them, and then if there's ever a real emergency, then you can go to your freezer and unthaw them. And I hope that as you unthaw it, you remind yourself, why did I put it here in the first place? And that will get you back on track to get yourself out of debt faster. Number 7, you have to decrease your spending. You have to decide what is the difference between a necessary bill and a want or a desire. As you decide what is actually important to you and what is a requirement, then you'll really make the most out of your money. You might even consider reviewing your spending history, or at least looking at how many monthly subscriptions you have. Who knows, you might think, hey, I only have 4 monthly subscriptions every month. But when you actually look at it, you realize, wow, I have 12. That can definitely be a huge money saver for you. Number 8, start to budget your money. You have to give every dollar a purpose. Most people actually have more money than they think. So as you budget your money out, you'll probably find some extra money there that you can repurpose and make the most out of it. Here's how I look at it. You work so hard for your money, so put your money to work. Put it towards what you actually want it to go towards. That also includes bonuses, tax returns, and any extra money you receive. I'd encourage you put that towards your debt, and you'll see how much faster you get yourself out of there. Number 9. Consider increasing your income. Maybe consider a second or maybe a third job, maybe a side hustle, or developing a skill that you know you have and could actually make you some extra money that you could put towards your debt. Who knows? Number 10, sell stuff you don't actually use. I would encourage you to go through your garage, go through your shed, go through your closet. Maybe you have way too many clothes. Maybe you have way too many tools. Maybe you have 1 or 2 extra bikes laying around. You could sell some of that stuff that you actually don't use, nor would you even miss, and put that money towards your debt. Number 11, stop going there. You have to change your habits. Maybe that's when you get tired or when you get discouraged. Do you order Uber Eats? Do you constantly log into Amazon? Do you go to the mall on Saturdays or your day off? You gotta be careful. You have to change your habits and stop going there. You'll be surprised how much money is really wasted that could be repurposed. Number 12, consider a balance transfer or maybe a loan consolidation. Can it be helpful? Yeah, absolutely, it could. But you have to consider this. Let's say that you have $10,000 worth of debt. Now, if that's spread out on 5 different credit cards somewhere else, and you want to consolidate that to 1 loan, remember, it's still the same amount of debt. So you still have to be just as resolute to get this paid off, even if, sure, it's more convenient, a little bit easier to pay down 1 debt instead of 5, and of course, hopefully it's at a lower interest rate. But remember, debt consolidation or even a balance transfer, even at 0%, is not the solution. That might be part of the solution, might be helpful towards meeting your goals, but remember, in order to get yourself out of debt, you have to be committed to making it happen. I know that we said 12 practical tips, but this is just a bonus tip. You might consider credit or debt counseling. Sometimes they can be had for low fees or completely free. So you might look around, see if there's anyone available that would help talk you through or answer any questions or help keep you accountable or motivated to help achieving your debt-free journey. You can do anything if you set your mind to it. So you have to get started. You have to get focused. I've listed out the 12 practical steps in the description below. I would encourage you, review those and really to start to apply them. If it would even be helpful for you, watch the video again and take some notes and start to apply these practical tips to help you in your debt-free journey. Let me know in the comments below what other tips have actually helped you or what you've already done to get this far. I'd love to hear from you. Let's get the conversation started. I'm so glad that you joined us today, and if any of this was helpful to you or if you got any value out of it, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button. Also, make sure and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on more videos like this. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on more weekly financial tips. See you next week.